Why do people fall in love with you? Have you ever wondered why some people feel an almost magnetic attraction to you? What is it that attracts them? Your looks? Your charisma? The way you speak? Or is there something much deeper, invisible but powerful behind it? One of the greatest psychologists of the 20th century, Carl Jung, argued that love is not random at all. In his view, people fall in love not with you as a person, but with what you unconsciously symbolize to them. There are only two underlying reasons why someone might fall in love with you, and both are rooted in the darkest and most mysterious layers of the human psyche. In this video we'll explore Jung's powerful concepts, anima and animus projection, and get to the bottom of why people are drawn to you not because of who you are on the outside, but because of who they see inside themselves through you. We'll delve into the unconscious mechanisms that drive romantic attraction and uncover two fundamental reasons why you find yourself at the center of someone's affection. These reasons are much deeper than looks, mannerisms, or even character. They are based on the hidden architecture of the soul, including the part of it that a person doesn't realize in themselves. We are accustomed to think of love as magic, sudden, unpredictable, like a spark that flares up out of nowhere. But Carl Gustav Jung saw it not as an accident, but as a manifestation of a deep inner logic, an invisible order shaped by the unconscious. What we perceive as a spontaneous connection is in fact rarely accidental. It is the result of a long, hidden work of inner forces, emotions, displaced experiences, unconscious aspirations, and unmet needs. Behind every moment of attraction there is a structure, a quiet, almost sacred architecture of the psyche. It is what leads us to some people and bypasses others. And here Jung introduces one of the key ideas, projection. Each of us carries within us inner images, fragments of our own selves. Who we were, who we are, and who we aspire to become. Many of these aspects are forgotten, displaced, or rejected. But they do not disappear. They live in the shadows of the unconscious, waiting for the moment to manifest through others. When we meet someone who resonates with these inner parts in some way, we feel a strong attraction. Sometimes it feels like magic, fate. But in reality, we fall in love not so much with the person himself, but with our own projection reflected in his image. Imagine, for example, a person who all his life was withdrawn, reserved, afraid to express his feelings. And now he meets someone, alive, open, bright, speaking sincerely, without fear. The attraction is instantaneous. But it's more than admiration, it's an inner response. This person symbolizes the power that slumbers within himself, but has not yet been lived. The attraction feels real. But its roots, in the unconscious, which craves wholeness, seeks inner evolution. And vice versa. Someone may fall in love with you not because of your traits, but because you reflect something they lack. Maybe you symbolize strength, warmth, freedom, clarity, or depth, something they are looking for in themselves. You become more than just a person. You become a living symbol. A mirror of their lost self. The missing element they lack for inner wholeness. The first reason is that you embody what they're missing. It's not simply that opposites attract. Rather, opposites highlight the emptiness, those parts of the inner world that have been forgotten, suppressed, or never developed. A rational person may be irresistibly drawn to an emotional person, someone who feels deeply and expresses feelings freely. An introvert may fall in love with an extrovert, as if in response to the call of the soul, seeking light and companionship. Someone who lives in clear structure and order may be fascinated by someone chaotic, spontaneous, lively. But there is a danger hidden in this fascination. Because if a person does not realize what it is in you that attracts him, if he does not understand that this quality already potentially exists within him, then love easily turns into dependence. Then he clings not to you as a person, but to that part of himself that you unconsciously personify. Not to love, but to the missing link. And the moment his need changes, or when you, manifesting your real human nature, destroy his idealized projection, everything can start to fall apart. This is the basic trap of projection. It creates an illusion of connection, powerful and vibrant, but often tenuous. A bond built not on true intimacy, but on psychological need. When the illusion is dispelled, which is always sooner or later, the love built on it begins to dissolve. Jung didn't stop at projection. He went even deeper, to where love becomes the mirror of the soul. It is here that he introduces one of his most powerful concepts, the anima and animus, archetypal images of the opposite sex living in the depths of the unconscious. According to Jung, every man carries the anima, the inner female image, emotional and sensual. And every woman carries the animus, the inner male principle, logical and purposeful. It's not just tastes, habits, or cultural scripts. It's much more ancient than that. These images are formed in childhood from the first deepest emotional connections, primarily with parents. But they are also nourished by myths, religion, collective memory and symbols that humanity has passed down from generation to generation. Over time, these archetypes become emotionally charged blueprints, invisible but powerful matrices through which we perceive others. We carry them around without realizing it until we meet someone who seems to match them perfectly. And then what seems like a miracle happens. The attraction sweeps in like a wave. There's a sense of recognition, as if you've known this person forever, even before they were born. As if it's not a meeting, but a memory, an awakening, a destiny. But Jung warns. It's not fate, it's not magic. And it's not proof that you're halves of the same whole. It's your own psyche seeing your inner structure projected onto another person. You don't fall in love with him. You're falling in love with an image that's been living inside you for a long time. An ideal that has been reflected in the outside world. The second reason. You awaken a powerful, unconscious image that they've been carrying within themselves. You become not just a person, but a living reminder of something deeply familiar. Of an inner image they've carried around for years, perhaps a lifetime. It's not always like a match in appearance or behavior. Sometimes it's not the form that matches, but the essence. Something in you resonates with their unconscious matrix, and this resonance awakens the strongest emotions. You activate an inner archetype, and that's why the connection feels instantaneous, almost supernatural. This feeling is not about you. It's about who you are becoming in their inner world. It's about the symbol you embody. But that's where the main danger lies. When a person falls in love with their inner image projected onto you, they don't see the real you. He sees a fantasy, an idea, a sacralized projection. You become a screen onto which is projected a script written by the unconscious long before you met. But over time, reality will still begin to seep in. You'll show your traits, your weaknesses, your living contradictions, and that's when the projection starts to crack. The illusion cannot withstand the intrusion of truth. What once seemed divine becomes earthly. What was admirable now raises questions. Misunderstandings, conflicts, pain begin. Disappointment is not about you. It's about the fall of an inner ideal that couldn't stay on the pedestal. That's why so many passionate, vibrant, life-changing relationships end in chaos. They weren't built on knowing and accepting the real person. They were based on archetypal projection, an attempt by the unconscious to play out its myth in real life. But no living person can forever conform to an unconscious ideal. Because you are not an idea. You are reality. And reality is always more complicated than that. Love as a catalyst for growth. Despite the pain, confusion, and disappointment that often accompany projection, Jung did not consider it a mistake at all. On the contrary, he believed it was a necessary step in the inner journey. Projection is not a failure. It is an invitation to growth. Love is not just an emotion. It's an instrument of transformation. Everyone you fall in love with becomes a mirror. And everything you see in them is a reflection of something that has been living in you for a long time. Some people bring out your hidden potential. Others illuminate your deepest fears. Some spark creativity and freedom. Some bring out anxiety, dependency, insecurity. But all have the same unconscious function, to accelerate your path to wholeness, to what Jung called individuation, becoming yourself in the fullest sense. When someone falls in love with you, they may be sure they see something extraordinary in you. And in a way, he's right. But it's not about you, it's about what you awaken inside him. You become a symbol, a trigger, a psychological turning point. A transition to a new phase of his inner journey. The final realization is love and self. So why do people fall in love with you? Because you either reflect what they desperately need, or you awaken what they have long forgotten in themselves. In both cases, love isn't really about you. It's about the self striving for wholeness. It is its call, its evolution, its awakening. And the same thing is happening to you. You fall in love with those who reflect your lost fragments, those who unwittingly recall images from the depths of your unconscious, those who, consciously or not, carry the key to your next stage of growth. But if you don't recognize these unconscious patterns, you run the risk of getting stuck in repeating them. You'll find yourself reaching for the same types over and over again, playing the same roles, chasing the same illusions, hoping again and being disappointed again. You may think you're unlucky in love, but really your unconscious just keeps trying to teach you. Until you're ready, the lesson will keep repeating itself. Jung would say, coming out in awareness. Once you begin to recognize your projections, your inner archetypes, your repetitive scripts, you stop looking for someone to complete you. You begin to become whole within yourself. And that's when love is transformed. It is no longer built on fantasies, pain and fear. It becomes real, quiet, grounded, free. Because ultimately, the deepest love is not a search for the perfect person. It's about returning to the parts of yourself that have waited so long to be seen and accepted. You don't just fall in love with the other person. You fall in love with the version of yourself that this person helps you discover. To understand love through Jung's lens is to realize that it has always been about more than just the other. It's about you. About your journey back to your real self. So the next time someone falls in love with you or you feel that magnetic attraction, stop for a moment and ask, what part of my soul is waking up right now? Subscribe to the channel, because you'll see more helpful content ahead.